What extremes for Scholes.
Such is football, Martin. Such great highs, followed by some incredible lows at this level. I was going to say the joy of it all, but that's the joy and pain of it all.
Ljungberg. So Sweden, the group leaders, seem to hold all the cards here. Cormack. Ljungberg trying to get in again. It's been a feature of his forward running, coming basically from the left-hand side, but with license to roam.
Yeah, he's been a thorn. He's caused problems every time he's drifted from left and then made that little diagonal run. I don't think it's all gloom and doom. It's a massive hurdle that England have to scale now. But I just think that I've seen many teams win with 10 men against 11. It wouldn't be the first time. Even this season we saw Manchester United triumph in a huge FA Cup semi-final when they went down to 10 men against a very, very good Arsenal. So it can be done.
Who's going to play Ryan Giggs? Maybe Michael Gray on the left-hand side, but Campbell saying that's handball by Kenneth Anderson.
I think he's fortunate to get away with that. You know, Anderson's so close to him. So was played into trouble by Michael Gray. Didn't want the ball back. I think he wanted Michael Gray to turn away. Look how close Anderson is, and you know, I think that hits him rather than he moves towards it. Got away with it.
So here's Philip Neville.
You know, I just wondered, I mean, you're looking at the team now and what's there. I just wonder, you talked about three at the back. You know, I wonder, when you look at the players, you look at Philip Neville, Sol Campbell, Rio Ferdinand, he's got three there that can play. But it would mean probably making a substitution and pushing Michael Gray forward and somebody wide on the right, sacrificing one of the centre midfielders. Sorry, maybe they are going free after all. But that would give them a chance to push someone into midfield.
Well, they've got a free kick. Well, it's a time for England heroes here.
Well, I remember against Argentina, Sol Campbell, very much in similar circumstances, thought he'd given England a memorable victory. Set piece, header.
Beckham's free kick. And it's Rio Ferdinand who found a glancing touch.
And he had space. Not so sure how good an opportunity this is. It's a crowded area. You know, he's never really going to score from there, backing away from goal. Just helped it on. It's a decent little ball in.
Look in England's recent records, there are a couple of recurring themes with their problems. One against South American teams and another against Scandinavian opposition. And here's Henrik Larsson. Siemens ball though. Cole. Beckham. He's got the cross in. Cole attacking it. Who was Björklund in the defensive situation.
Well, you've got Beckham, you've got a Shearer, you've got a Cole. You've always got a chance, Martin, of getting a goal. Intriguing match. It's been fascinating from the outset when it was 11v11. It's even more fascinating now.
Patrick Anderson. Oh, it's hesitation, and Tim Sherwood wasn't hesitating. He was making up the ground at pace.
What was the goalkeeper thinking about? Anderson was doing everything right, shielding it, just saying, "Come and pick it up, goalkeeper."
Schwarz. Oh, and that's a late one by Batty. Referee letting the game go on because Sweden are still in possession. With Ljungberg. I'm up for offside and they decided to play the ball. I wonder whether the referee will take any action here when the play is stopped. Having a word with Batty there. Andy Cole chasing. Oh, and the ricochet could have run for the Manchester United striker. In the end, it runs behind for a goal kick. And it's a booking. Is it for Batty?
Yes, he's walking right towards him, Martin. This is what I'm saying. They mustn't lose their discipline. You know, as a footballer, in this sort of situation, you're down to 10 men. It's so important that you keep your discipline.
England have been working hard on pressing and closing down, but you've got to do that within the laws of the game. And these days the punishments are pretty draconian, even compared to maybe when David Batty started his tenacious career. Well, there's just over half an hour to go. Who's almost held on to the ball to lure in those late challenges.
He does do that. I said to you, he gives you a chance. He does, and that's why he tempts players to come and make tackles.
Well, this will be a test of Sweden psychologically as much as anything else. Now the burden of expectation is on them. It wasn't really coming here. Very respectful of how England were starting to shape up under Kevin Keegan. Sure, the officials were sure about that, and they've taken the way out of it that they should do and given it as the goal kick. Is that a prayer?
Or maybe he's just thanking.
Send me a point.
Well, I mean, you talked about the burden of expectation, Martin, and I think normally, yes, I would agree with you. But I still think even now, if you were to give the Swedish manager a point, he'd go away a very happy man.
Well, England have given the ball to Kenneth Anderson. It was Beckham's mistake. Gray. Batty. It's Mjalby who just got a toe in. Michael Gray again. In goes Batty. Sherwood. Beckham has to play it back. Sweden keeping their shape. Ferdinand. Taking on two. Oh, now Sweden can break. Kenneth Anderson. Ljungberg with him. Was a bit lucky to get it back, but David Seaman can catch the dropping ball, and Kenneth Anderson didn't make the maximum of that. Fortunately for England.
Poor play from the big striker.
Crowd urging England forward. Batty. Now Philip Neville. In goes Tim Sherwood! Not far away.
Well, that's what I mean, all is not lost. It's exactly what's called for. You have Gray, you have Neville, you have Beckham, you have people who can cross the ball. And now, in a strange sort of way, Martin, Tim Sherwood is getting released now to go forward. When Scholes was on, he was the one who held with Batty in that left-hand side. Now that's more like it. That's more like the Tim Sherwood who we've seen play. I think he would be allowed to do that now. Leave Batty just sitting there, and Sherwood can go forward and be a threat from any kind of cross like that.
Ljungberg just skipping away from Phil Neville, showing what a threat he has been in this game. He checked back, but Sweden have kept the ball. Roland Nielsen. Schwarz. Patrick Anderson. Not the happiest time in English football. Short stay with Blackburn. There's Alex Sanderson. Kenneth Anderson. Well, he would have liked a bit more pace on the cross to work with.
I just wonder what could he have taken in his chest. It's a straight, the ball's dying there, and I just thought it was one of those where it was going to have to be some sort of header from that sort of range. Taking on the chest might have given him a better option.
Batty. Two useful balls in Michael Gray already. It's just a slicing away though, and Edmund can take charge. I was just chuckling inwardly, Andy. I can't remember you taking too many on the chest, the master of the diving header.
That's true. From what I've seen from Kenneth Anderson today, Martin, in the ground, he hasn't. I know he's a better player than that, but he hasn't been at his best.
Well, he's got 30 international goals, isn't that? It's 3 off the Swedish record. And he could have made inroads into that 3 that he needs today.
Well, the crowd is trying to give the England manager a little nudge, singing for Teddy Sheringham. I think it's just as well Larson jumped there.
I think the ball was the only thing on the minds of the challengers around him. He survives. Will England survive in this group? Kevin Keegan honest enough to say over the past couple of days that really he's thinking playoffs as the best way forward, or most likely way forward. And here's Andy Cole, and touch on from Shearer. Never manifested itself as a chance for Cole, really.
Well, I've been very impressed with the way they've defended the Swedes today, Martin. As a back four, they've been a fabulous unit.
That's misjudged, though, by Björklund, and Cole gets a touch. Beckham is trying to steer it in towards Shearer. And when Björklund does make an error, you can bet Patrick Anderson is there to help his mate.
Well, they've all done well, right across it. Anderson, Björklund, Nielsen, Kamart, as a unit, they've been absolutely first class.
There's a few caps between them.
You better believe it. Pontus Kamart, the novice there, with 44. This is 45th.
He just thinks that forward. Larson would have been onside, I think. Campbell made it his. Schwarz. Fanti just leaving a boot in again. He's walking the same tightrope as Paul Scholes fell off. Alexanderson, Kenneth Anderson, Campbell heads out, and as far as Mjällby, good foot in there from Bapi. Schwarz. The sort of ball he might attack himself, Kenneth Anderson, but there aren't too many others around to do it when he crosses. We've had 20 minutes of the second half, during which England have had Paul Scholes sent off at Wembley.
Looking at the Swedes, are calling one of the subs back.
Here's Batty, doesn't make too many forward runs. And Schwarz overcomplicating it for Sweden.
Told you he gives you a chance, Martin. I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, confidence is one thing.
That's
but being
arrogance,
foolish is another, yeah. I would call it foolish if you're using your team, that's what you would call it.
There's a few apologies in order there. He was getting his ears burnt by his teammates. Gray, getting it quickly up to Shearer. Cole, who turns so quickly, but so too does Björklund, who is a defender through and through, barely crosses the halfway line. Knows where his place of work is. For freedom of movement, you've got Freddie Ljungberg picking up with Alexanderson. There's a little Arsenal v Tottenham contest there. Magnus Svensson is a midfield player. He's number 17.
I wonder what they'll do, Mark. Will they sacrifice a front man? Or will they just take off one of the quartet, who I think have all played well? Again, 4 players along that middle of the park. They've all done well for their country.
Sweden with the extra man on the attack with the corner. Yeah, just knocked away from Alexanderson by Ferdinand.
You've got to wait now. Schwarz has got to get across and take it from the other side.
And the referee just encouraging him to hurry on his way. He's not a great sprinter, Stefan Schwarz, at the best of times, but you can understand that he wouldn't want to break into even a trot unless the referee tells him to do so. But he's ready to take this corner. Here goes Mialbi. David Seaman has knocked it down. Now that's given as a foul. And I venture to say if Andy Gray was in Mialbi's shoes there, he'd be disputing that decision.
And there wasn't a lot of contact. It was an awkward ball from him. He came across and he jumps in front of David Seaman. You can see what I mean about there being very little contact. Just rushes against him. It was a really awkward ball for the goalkeeper to deal with.
Patrick Anderson. That just bounced up awkwardly for Hedman, but he kicked through the line of the ball, and Henrik Larsson guides it on. Kenneth Anderson to Ljungberg, who's been so conspicuous today. Hasn't really expressed himself properly for Arsenal, I don't think, on a regular basis. Always been a regular on the side, of course. Seems very confident back amongst his fellow countrymen today. And that's Philip Neville. He survived the threat of the yellow card, but who was caught again?
We have talked about it often. Let's lure them in. He's lucky to get away with that, Philip Neville. The substitution has been made. It's Henrik Larsson. They are taking off, so they're taking a front man off.
And Svensson can play all the way across midfield. He was the man of the match from Sweden's point of view against Jamaica in their warm-up international a few days ago.
Well, he looks like he's going to play left, Martin, and Ljungberg's been moved across, certainly more central. Perhaps Ljungberg's just going to play off big front man.
Here's Alexanderson. Plenty of players forward for Sweden. Mjalby. It's England's free kick. And we're inside the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, Ljungberg's been, I think, just given the job of playing off Kenneth Anderson.
So it goes Alexanderson, Mjalby, Schwarz and Svensson across the midfield four. Campbell. It's neatly done by Sherwood. Neville's cross. Beckham. Cole. An awkward height for Patrick Anderson. Svensson trying to clear acrobatically with pressure from David Beckham. It's been seen as a free kick for Sweden. Well, Robbie Fowler has been warming up. Surely between Fowler and Sheringham for England in these circumstances. Only one more substitution permitted by England. Shearer. Cole trying to take on Cormac. He's a dogged type and often given man-marking jobs by Martin O'Neill.
It's going to be an interesting couple of minutes coming up, Martin. Kevin's got to make his decision about who comes off. I think you're right, it's Sherry. Certainly the fans around the stadium are wanting Teddy. But does the manager agree?
And there's no doubt that Teddy Sheringham has had the best few days of his life. And will certainly not flinch from the challenge if England want him in these circumstances. Robbie Fowler, of course, is a magnificent finisher.
Fowler, Martin's taking his tracksuit off.
It's Roland Nielsen on the ball. And Schwarz. Ljungberg. He was caught by Sherwood. England leaving a few calling cards here.
Well, I think Robbie Fowler would like to leave one of his own.
Well, we talk about Sheringham being on a roll. Robbie Fowler needs a change of luck, doesn't he? He finished the season with that 6-game suspension. Sherwood left his foot in again. Chance by Patrick Anderson is a good one. Kenneth Anderson with a sensible header, but quick reactions by Gray. Fowler has had one game. You might have seen it on Sky Sports. He played for Liverpool in that Football League Challenge match at Sunderland. And did score a goal from the penalty spot, and generally felt the better for the outing. Great.
It's difficult to play your way through. England found it hard enough in the first half with 11v11, Martin.
Batty and Gray trying to come up with something here, and Beckham, for whom many things are possible. Gets it back from Philip Neville. Moved by Mjällby. Beckham's header. Then Cormack for Sweden, but it'll come straight back. The Swedes with the Campbell. Shearer. It's a high-quality turn. Sherwood. In from Beckham. And Patrick Anderson.
Won a lot of them, haven't they? Two centre-backs. They've headed everything but the kitchen sink so far.
Well, Beckham's got a problem. Away on that far side is dropped to the ground, and England lose possession.
It's keep ball for the Swedes, I think, Mark. If they can eat up the clock. I said they've not been adventurous with 11. They've been quite happy to keep it at 0-0. England down to 9 men at the moment. David Beckham off, getting some treatment.
Great. Whether that now means that Beckham is struggling.
Doesn't look good. Well, Robbie Fowler's tracksuit's back on. Kevin can't make the change. It's no good. He might have to change his mind. I feel certainly will have to change his mind.
He's got Ray Parlour and Jamie Redknapp.
His tracksuit is starting to come off.
Well, that's his consequences not just for the remainder of this match, but for Wednesday as well.
That's it, without Keown,
without Scholes,
and possibly looking at David Beckham without Beckham. The substitution is being made. There's Ray Parlour.
Ray Parlour, who came on in much happier circumstances for his first cap against Poland, now comes on here. For a pained David Beckham. Oh, what a brilliant effort by Freddie Ljungberg, who gets better and better in this game. Now, whether he knows David Seaman's habit of just drifting away from their Arsenal connection.
That is sensational. I'll tell you what it is, it's a brilliant save. Absolutely top drawer. Great football all round. The cheek, the invention, the ability to put it there. And then Seaman to recover the way he did. That was great football.
It's led to a corner for Sweden. Arsenal involved again in the shape of Ray Parlour. Oh, and that's played forward by Roland Nielsen. No offside against Mjällby. Starts with the cross. Almost queuing up there. But the precocious nature of Freddie Ljungberg against England's senior goalkeeper. Well, man of the match. 0660 11 22 33. Cormack. Well, the referee has had some difficult decisions to make in the second half with some of the physical side of the game. David Beckham rather emphasising England's current disappointment.
Well, you just never know in this game. As I said, they got out of jail first half, could easily have gone in at half-time trailing. Had to cope with Scholes getting sent off. A wonderful save there from the goalkeepers, kept him in the game. never know. So much has gone against you. You might just get a free kick.
Something else has gone against England for unfairly levering himself against Patrick Anderson.
You see, he just left the elbow there, and Anderson, referee, didn't like it.
We are talking about one of Europe's top officials here, Jose Maria Garcia Aranda, who had major appointments in the World Cup finals, the opening game, Scotland against Brazil, and that semi-final, France and Croatia. But you can't really fault his decision-making today.
No, I have to agree with you. I think that there's not an awful lot he's got wrong. I think in false goals, certainly two bookable offences.
Well, we saw Scholes get sent off in a FA Cup quarter-final in similar circumstances against Chelsea at Old Trafford. And his desire to get involved in the game in the centre of midfield, where he's just got to temper that tackling or improve the technique of it.
I just think modern day football, man, there's less tendency for people to actually tackle in that area. Stay on your feet and don't be beaten.
So here's Campbell. Nielsen reads it, passes it well. It's typical of him. A back pass by Rio Ferdinand. I have to compliment David Seaman on his touch then.
I think he just had a little word where he'll say, "What are you doing? Chipping it to me," in a surface that's suddenly greased up with the rain that's fallen.
Ferdinand. Well, Kevin Keegan is learning a lot about international management today. Sending off, which England would find hard to make a case against. Injuries have been unfortunate, no doubt about that. Kieran and Beckham, with Lasso being ill as well. Alexanderson, who came on. Well, we shouldn't forget that Sweden lost a player through injury as well, Hakan Mild. So now Alexanderson to play for most of the game at Wembley today. Kenneth Anderson. Instinctive prod as the ball was headed his way by Svensson.
A little bit more height in it, might have embarrassed the goalkeeper.
That's handball by Shearer.
He's controlling it, but certainly where I'm standing, it looked like he controlled it with the left arm as it dropped out the sky. Backs into the player, looks where he is, and then just rolls off his left arm.
Here for Sweden the last time they were at Wembley in 1988. That finished as a goalless draw. That's where we are at the moment with 8 minutes plus stoppage time left. Much of the second half, Sweden have had the advantage of an extra man. Turned it into much more than spells of composed possession. All but Cormack. Ferdinand again taking a chance in a dangerous area. Svensson, Alexanderson doesn't get many goals. Those two that took Peter Schmeichel by surprise back in the autumn for his club Sheffield Wednesday.
Well, I think one thing Rio Ferdinand will learn, Martin, as he gets older, is sometimes you can't always play. That's a perfect example for me. Last man, awkward bouncing ball. I think you just got to volley it and get it clear. He tried to bring it down, be neat and tidy, and he's almost, well, certainly half a chance, but not a great one.
Mjällby has gone off, and on has come Daniel Anderson, the younger brother of Patrick, who plays in Italy for Bari. A regular in Serie A, which tells you a fair amount about his ability. Well, could England snatch it? So much as Andy has said has gone against them today. Haven't played even with 11 men to the level that Kevin Keegan would have hoped. But here they are, down on their luck, but on the ball with Batty. It's Daniel Anderson to Kenneth Anderson. Sweden have got runners on either side. Kenneth Anderson didn't use either of them. Svensson on the left, Ljungberg on his right.
Yeah, they're happy to eat up time, aren't they? They just want to keep the ball.
And yet, if they were to get a late winner, they could almost open the champagne, couldn't they?
No, I think if it stays like this, they can. I think they'll win the section.